football took on Dallas powerhouse Highland Park Saturday morning, looking to go into District 3-0, where the Eagles able to avenge their last year's loss against the 6A powerhouse. Eagle Volleyball opened up district play Friday against a tough McKinney team. Did the Eagles fall prey to the Lions? We sit down and talk the political landscape with Mark Werner, who will give us an insight in a very crowded presidential race. We hand it off to Mr. Wright, who has some special announcements for Prosper High School. On today, September 14th, 2015.
From Prosper High School, this is Eagle Nation News with Austin Garcia, Ben Fein, and Mackenzie Hamilton.
Good morning, Prosper, and welcome back to Eagle Nation News. I'm Austin Garcia, joined by Mackenzie Hamilton and Ben Fein once again. Last week was a huge weekend for Eagle sports. Friday night, I had a deja vu of the Waxahachie game, and it was the first game of district.
I feel bad for the people that left after the first two games. I think it's safe to say they saw a different kind of volleyball team in the first two games. We weren't really ourselves, and then we still battled. We lost two close games, and then in the third, fourth, and fifth games, you could really see us picking it up, and we won, and we stole one from McKinney.
Yeah, it was scary up there in the student section because in the third game, we were 2 points away from
getting swept, and we ended up bringing home the W.
starting off district 0-1, and it was
in a very competitive district.
And you were on the court filming.
Yeah, I was filming. So, as expected, you could tell the team was probably getting frustrated. They lost both two games by very few points, but then they really kept the energy up, and they were a totally different team the last three games.
Yeah, you talk about different teams. Go on, talk about football. It's crazy how much how much difference a year makes.
No, absolutely. I know we still took a loss on Saturday morning, but you really have to compare this team to the team last year. Highland Park is a team that put 54 on us after three quarters, and just shut us down. And this year, it came down to basically the last play. Mm-hmm. And I really think that that's a testament to the new coaching and the new football team this year.
Yeah, I agree completely. Coming up after the break, Trey Maynard is going to give us a run-through on how our Eagles did last weekend. We'll sit down in studio with Mark Werner to discuss the 2016 presidential race, and Mr. Wright will give us a few announcements from his office.
On the pavement, in the dirt, bruised and bleeding, but never hurt. I know why you put us down. Think it's time you take a look around. 'Cause maybe the time has come to change. A new direction, a different way. We can make it if we try.
With the political landscape constantly changing, it can be a little bit too easy to get lost. We're sitting down with UIL speech and debate champion Mark Werner to discuss the 2016 presidential race. Mark, thank you for joining us today.
Good to be here.
Now, let's just go ahead and get started. People kind of listen to, here in Prosper, I can say especially, people kind of listen to, exactly what their parents say, and they don't really find an opinion for themselves. Mm-hmm. How can you find your own opinion and politically wise?
Well, it's important to pay attention and listen to a lot of politicians, what they say, what they give in speeches, and what they put online and in a lot of their campaign literature. And this is important to look at so you can sort of develop your own viewpoint, which is really important if you want to be able to think independently, think for yourself. You need to look at a variety of different viewpoints.
And nowadays it's kind of tough though because there's CNN and Fox so far left, so far right. How can you find just the black and white truth?
Well, as long as when you look at these sources like Fox and CNN, you view these sources through the lens of they're either too far right or too far left. When you can look at them that way and be able to discern that there's a bias there, it makes it very much easier to be able to tell that what these sources are saying may or may not be the truth.
And we can't really have a political conversation without talking about this guy, Donald Trump. A lot of people are marking him off as kind of just like a sideshow or he's just doing it just to get the publicity, but is he a real candidate in this next election?
Well, his poll numbers definitely suggest that he's doing very well. However, we have to look at the candidate more overall, more holistically, and see that in a lot of areas he's not doing as well as some other candidates in fundraising, inability to get a good ground campaign going in key states like Iowa and New Hampshire. And also, we've seen before where these candidates, they have a big inflation of poll numbers where their poll numbers go way up and they're temporarily in the lead. However, long term, they end up falling down. We saw this before in 2012 with Newt Gingrich and President Herman Cain time and time again, where these candidates aren't able to sustain themselves. However, Donald Trump has basically violated every rule of politics so far, so anything's possible, really.
Yeah, and so this current election, all of our current seniors and even a handful of juniors will be able to vote. How do you suggest they get involved and keep updated?
Well, it's important to stay involved with the political landscape. It's constantly changing. Things are always being updated. There's always new bills coming up in Congress or the Senate, and important things that it's important to stay and to stay paying attention to these sort of things in order to keep a focus on political matters in order to be ready for the 2016 presidential election and then on.
Well, thank you, Mark. Thank you for joining us again. We'll have you
thank
on the
you.
show more as
Thank you.
the election
Thank you.
approaches. Now let's head over to Trey with sports.
Just 1 year ago, the Eagles took on the Scots, losing by a score of 54-0. What a difference a year makes, as the Eagles put up more total yards of offense than the Scots this year, only losing by a touchdown. We sat down with Coach Chris Ross, and he very simply said, the difference this year is that we believe in them. This week, our Eagles football team took on the Highland Park Scots at AT&T Stadium. The Eagles struck first with a 9-yard touchdown run by Robert Mahone in the first quarter. The Scots came firing back with a 63-yard touchdown pass to take the lead 7-6. The Eagles remained scoreless through the second quarter, but let the Scots score 2 more touchdowns to finish the first half 23-6. The third quarter was a slow one with the Eagles offense unable to score. The Scots added on another touchdown to their impressive lead. The Eagles defense was able to slow down the Scots with key tackles by our very own J.T. Graham and senior Jay Bias. With the Eagles not wanting a repeat from last year, the Eagles came out strong in the fourth with 2 touchdowns from Robert Mahone. The Scots were able to add another touchdown to their lead, but the Eagles had a glimpse of hope when Bailey Mack scored a 78-yard touchdown pass. In the end, it wasn't enough. The Eagles fell short of the Scots, losing the game 35-28. On to volleyball now. Our Lady Eagles volleyball team started off district play with a thrilling 5-set game against McKinney High. The Eagles came out strong, but soon fell to the Lions' impressive offense and long rallies, losing the first set 23-25. The second set was much of the same, with the Eagles making too many errors on the court and the Lions taking advantage of the Eagles' mistakes, losing the second set 21-25. With the Eagles' determination to stay in the game, they fought their way back to a third set victory, staying 1 step ahead of the Lions, winning the third set 26-24. The Eagles' momentum didn't stop there, as the Lions were still trying to find an answer over the Eagles' mighty offense. The Eagles stomped on the Lions, winning the fourth set 25-11. The fifth and final set was another one-sided set, with Our Lady Eagles continuing to shut down the Lions' key players and winning the final set 15-9. Be sure to come out and support the Lady Eagles as they continue district play on Tuesday at Wiley East.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Are you looking for drinks, candy, snacks, and spiritware? If so, the Eagle Shack is the right place for you. Don't use those old and out-of-shape vending machines. And don't even think about waiting those long lunch lines if you only need a snack. Here at the Eagle Shack, you will find everything you need. Open all lunches after school from 3:44 to 4 o'clock, before school from 8 a.m. to 8:25, and open between some classes. Support your Eagle Shack today.
Hola, Eagle Nation. I'm Brady Powers, back with you guessed it, more weather for you guys, yay. Anyways, according to weather.com, we kick off the week with a high of 91 degrees and a low of 64 that night. There's 10 to 20 mile per hour winds throughout the day. Tomorrow we stay roughly sunny throughout the day with a high of 90 and a low of 72. Finally, on Wednesday, we have partly cloudy skies with temperatures between 92 and 73 that night. There's a 68% chance of humidity that night, so Austin, I would advise you to definitely wear a tank top. Lastly, there's 10 to 20% chances of rain throughout the day, so not a great chance of rain, but if it does, you didn't hear it from me. Well, that's the weather around you with your weather update. I'm Brady Powers, and I couldn't bring the weather today, so instead I brought flour tortillas. That's all. Back to you.
I just don't even know what to say about him anymore. Before we go, here are a few announcements. Spanish Club will have its first meeting on Wednesday after school in a room 1128.
Join the Mandarin Language Club Monday through Wednesday after school in room 1146. All days are optional.
If you're looking to be challenged in math, the Math UIL is looking for members. The team competes in UIL number sense, calculator, and math. For more info, please see Mr. DeVito in room 1135. Practices have already begun.
If you would like to level down from a pre-AP or AP course, please go to the website and fill out the form that is located under guidance. The deadline is Tuesday at 5:00 p.m. Remember, there are no elective changes.
The new to Prosper ISD New Student Social will be today from 4 to 6 in the cafeteria. Student leadership students and mentors will be on hand to facilitate the activities. Although it's the end of the show, please stand by for Mr. Wright's announcements. For Eagle Nation News, I'm Austin Garcia.
I'm Mackenzie Hamilton.
And I'm Ben Fein.
Live long and prosper.